So, hello, fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 6455463728. And I just want to say that it's not fated for you to have crabs. I know that's a little bit of an odd topic, but yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about today. That it's not your fate to have crabs. Now, I'm Earthling 64 yada yada yada, and one time I actually got an eye injury because of the lights on an advertising shoot. And not just me, everybody else who was on the shoot too spent a excruciatingly painful night and part of the next day with my eyes burning. It's called the arc eye. You can look it up. Anyway, I have a computer science degree. I have a minor in math. It comes with a computer science degree. I have a master's in business administration. I've handled an Israeli rifle, which was completely made of plastic except for the firing pin. That's what I was told. And just like anybody else with military experience, taking apart, put these things together as fast as you can. It's an exercise. And I've done a couple other things, and that's me. So what do I mean that you're not fated to have crabs? Well, I have a friend of mine from university, and he found that he was repeatedly encountering a particular individual that he knew and that I came to know, who one day we were sitting down and we were talking, and I guess he had done business with this person, and the way that he framed it was that I keep running into this guy over and over again. It's kind of like we're fated to have a relationship, not sexual or anything like that, maybe business, maybe we're fated to be friends or associates or whatever. And I didn't really like the guy too much. I mean, he's not a horrible person per se. I had an encounter with him over a long period of months where I also had a business relationship with him. And he wasn't completely unpleasant per se. Unpleasant things as a result of other people did occur to me because of my association with him. But he per se was not completely unpleasant. But I thought, hey, just because you keep encountering this guy again, interacting with him over and over repeatedly, it does not mean that you're fated to be with him or to have an association with him. If you kept getting crabs over and over and over, would you assume that you were fated to have crabs? That's ridiculous. That doesn't make any sense at all. But I think that a lot of us, many of us, maybe even me, I don't think so, but maybe, a lot of us have this sense of fate. Like things are supposed to be a particular way, or the idea that this is just how I am, and many other similar thoughts. With respect to this is how I am, I just remember hearing about this rich guy who worked too much, or who works too much, for no good reason. He's already rich. And he's like, my wife doesn't like me working this much, but she knows this is who I am. And I'm like, that is such lazy thinking. Or Bobby Lee, for example, the comedian. He was also going over like some imperfections that he has. And at some point he's like, yeah, but this is who I am. And you know what? I can't disagree with that. That is absolutely true. This is how they currently are. But the problem is that the implication is, this is who I will remain. And that I can completely disagree with, because it's your choice as much as, choices we have really in reality. Any more than, what are the Rube Goldberg machines? or I would just think of them as like stacked dominoes. Any more than a row of stacked dominoes has choice as to whether or not it's gonna fall. Everything's aligned how it's supposed to be, and I know that kind of contradicts what I'm saying, but it's been kind of proven that if you believe you have a choice, things tend to go a little bit better. So believe it, because it's true. Because I never thought that I would smoke, for example. When I was, younger and adult, I was like, let me just try it. I don't think I'm going to end up smoking. And then it became a thing where I thought I would limit myself to 1 cigarette a day at some point after I tried it once or twice and it was okay. I thought I would limit myself, but then it became a requirement that I would have at least 1 cigarette a day. And the next thing I know, I'm smoking. And then the next thing I know, I'm bumming lots of cigarettes so that I don't buy a pack, so that I don't smoke more. So at least I'm not smoking that much. But then I realized that people that I know have stopped smoking altogether. And I'm like, okay, well, if they have, I can't be the dummy that just keeps smoking. That doesn't make any sense. But if you ask me, do you see yourself never smoking again in your life? Or do you see yourself not having a cigarette once a day or for long periods of time? I couldn't imagine it. The same way, I guess, how I couldn't imagine that I would pick up a dumb habit like smoking. That didn't make any sense. Why would I do that? I'm never going to smoke because it's stupid. And then I smoked for quite a long time. And even after I stopped smoking, I told people, yeah, I feel like smoking. I want to smoke. I know it's not good for me. I have the capability of not doing it, but the idea of smoking sounds nice to me, but I'm not going to do it, but I still feel like smoking. And now, of course, I haven't smoked in years, and that's great. And I could have been like, I guess I'm fated to have crabs. I guess I'm fated to have a relationship with this guy. I guess this is who I am. But no, it wasn't who I was. It was a habit. It was one habit that I could change. And it wasn't easy to change, definitely. Right now, I don't know if you guys have this thing in your showers where there's like a hose that hangs down and you can use it to like... But anyway, the hose, it needs to be put up, like hooked up around the shower head or whatever. So because the place where it's the place where you normally supposed to put it doesn't work well anymore. So anyway, I need to hang that up every time I use it. And even though I don't shower that many times in a day, I do use the hose to get warm water. And I was forgetting to put it up, put it back up, put it back up, put it back up. And I kept forgetting. And let me tell you, that was a hard habit to remember. It is a little thing, but it was really hard to remember. I also remember running around this park or walking around the park. The idea of running around the park sounded like really awful, and I had no interest in doing it. And then from walking every day, I thought, hey, let me try running around this thing. And I ran around it, and I was like, okay, that's good. And next thing you know, fast forward, I was running from my house without stopping to the park, running around it like 4 times to get 4 miles in, 3 times a week. And I started from walking around it, really insisted to myself that I wasn't even going to try to run because it sounded awful. And it's the same thing with, gaining a whole bunch of weight. Or me and my sister, we were like, how is it that people can see themselves gaining weight and just not do anything about it? Well, I saw myself gaining weight and I just couldn't be bothered to even think about. I don't even know how that happened when I'm thinking about it. I don't really know how I was like, hey, I can see. You know what it was, I think? I think partly it was because I was not weighing myself to see how much weight I was gaining. And, well, I guess, was there a free place to do that? To get your weight? I don't know, but my blood pressure, I would definitely check my blood pressure. But at some point, I was like, no, I gotta lose this weight. This isn't working. But I think that what we don't realize as human beings is that we are a collection of habits. I'm talking to you right now because I have, as you have as well, a finely honed habit and ability to speak without even thinking. I don't even know where my ideas, the direction, or the words that I'm uttering, where they come from. I don't have a clue. And I don't have to think about it, but it's a habit. And I could evolve this habit. I can train myself to start doing this in a completely different language, which I'm kind of trying to do with Korean. And it's really difficult. So yeah, but it can be done. This is not just how I am. If I put in as much time and energy learning Korean and speaking it daily as I did with respect to English, that would be who I am, and it could be changed. It's simply a question of if I see or believe that there's a benefit to doing that, if there's a motivation for me to do it. And also, to stick to the theme of what I'm saying, don't think that you are fated to do anything or be any particular way. It's your choice. You probably have, people say it's two arguments. One is that you have a certain amount of willpower, and then you ask Navy SEALs or something like that, and they're like, no, you don't have a certain amount of willpower. Like if you expend it on this, you're going to run out for later. No. Well, I don't know what it is, but you do have a certain amount of time in a day. So, and you do have a certain amount of resources at your disposal with respect to money or anything else, or whatever country that you live in, or anything like that. So you do have limitations. That said, you probably would be amazed at what you could really do, what you're actually capable of, especially seeing as you're not sitting down perhaps and listing all of these different things. I remember when I was starting to use this app that I use to take charge of my weight, and I would start entering all of the different things that I would eat in a day. And I guess at the time I was trying not to eat a lot of any one particular thing. But when I made the list and I could see all of the different things that I was eating throughout a day, I was like, whoa, okay, wow, that is just crazy. Because I measured it and I could see the reality. And, when I weighed myself and I could see what my weight was finally, I was up at 225 at some point. And I guess that was part of it, how I got to that weight, because I was not weighing myself regularly. I just remember that one number that I just kind of like, let me see how much I weigh, forget about, like making sure or checking myself regularly. And I just weighed that one time and I know, okay, I'm 225. But if you really do want to change yourself, and there are probably a lot of good reasons for you to change. There's always a lot of good reasons for all of us to change. If you really want to change, you have to start recording the things that you want to change. Like maybe how many times a day you do X or Y or Z or W. And then maybe you could say, I want to do it one less time every day, or one more time every day, or I want to do this activity at least once per day. And that way, by counting, you can find that you will increase, decrease, shift sideways, bring in a new habit, take away a new one. You gain control over yourself by not accepting the fact that you are fated to have crabs. Anyway, that's it for me. Feel free to like, subscribe, look at some of my other videos, comment, unlike, none of those things, but just as much as you would like somebody else to do the same for you if this was your stuff. Have a good one. Peace.